Hi, I'm Amy Stasiewicz, and welcome to The Minutes. Thanks for listening today. It's great to have you along on The Minutes for the week of June 16th. This is the City of Thunder Bay podcast. The Minutes takes a look at what happened at standing committee meetings and city council meetings. You can find The Minutes wherever you get your podcasts, including our YouTube channel and our website, thunderbay.ca/theminutes. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update. This week, both the Quality of Life Standing Committee and the Growth Standing Committee met. We'll go over the main takeaways from both standing committee meetings. Then I'll sit down with Brecka, the city's new urban forester. So let's get started. Like all meetings, the night began with a land acknowledgement and then right into the agenda. First up was the Quality of Life Standing Committee meeting. There was a deputation from WSP Canada on the status of Highway 117 widening to 4 lanes from Brecka Falls to Thunder Bay Expressway. Next was the reports of administration. The first report was an update on Thunder Bay's ongoing response to the emerald ash borer and where things stand right now. The city's plan is on track, but now we're seeing more visible signs of an infestation across the community, especially in areas with lots of ash trees. This was expected, but it also means we're entering the next phase. The city is shifting to street-wide removals to improve safety, efficiency, and replanting efforts. The goal is to rebuild the canopy with a more diverse mix of trees. Since 2016, about 2,500 ash trees have already been removed, and with around 3,500 still to go. This work will continue into 2030. There's a lot more behind these decisions and what it all means for residents. Today's podcast guest will help break it all down and explain what to expect in the years ahead. The second report of administration is about the City of Thunder Bay's Youth and Family Support Program, a key part of its youth gang prevention strategy. This program, running from 2022 to 2026 with federal funding, is focused on early intervention, supporting youth aged 10 to 13 and their families. So far, it's directly supported 96 young people and their families, while also reaching many more through community partners, programs, and education. What makes this program different is its relationship-based approach. It's not about a quick fix. It's about mentorship, trust, and helping families navigate systems that can often feel complicated or hard to access. The program also brought together schools, health services, Indigenous partners, and community organizations to create a more coordinated, supportive system around youth. An independent evaluation from Lakehead University found the program is working and making a real impact, improving access to supports, strengthening partnerships, and building skills to prevent gang involvement before it starts. There's also some innovative work happening, like a virtual reality tool called Streetwise XR, which helps youth understand and recognize risks like gang recruitment. Looking ahead, the big focus is sustainability, keeping this momentum going through continued partnerships, shared resources, and hopefully continued funding. The next report is an update on the progress of Thunder Bay's Fit Together Recreation and Facilities Master Plan. Since it was approved in 2017, the plan has guided how the city invests in recreation spaces, programs, and services. And overall, it's been very successful. About 85% of the plan's 81 actions are either complete or ongoing. In 2025, we saw some big progress. On the infrastructure side, construction began on the T-Baytel multiplex. Upgrades continued at local arenas, and the Centennial Botanical Conservatory reopened after renovations. There's also ongoing work to improve energy efficiency across facilities. When it comes to community impact, participation is growing. Program registrations increased, volunteer numbers jumped significantly, and more people are accessing affordable recreation supports. We've also seen strong growth in aquatics, youth programming, and especially programs for older adults. The city has also been focused on inclusion and partnerships, expanding youth programs, offering new community initiatives like free bike repair programs, and working closely with local organizations to reach more people. From a tourism and events perspective, 2025 was a busy year, including hosting the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, which brought in over 50,000 spectators, along with new events, public art, and cultural programming. Looking ahead, there's a big transition coming. With the current plan nearing the 10-year mark, work will begin in fall 2026 on a new recreation and parks master plan. This updated plan will bring recreation, parks, and open spaces together into one strategy, with a stronger focus on growth, accessibility, and meeting the changing needs of our community. The next phase is all about building on that to support a growing, active, and connected Thunder Bay. The final report of administration was on naming rights for the Current River Arena. The city is recommending that the arena be renamed the iTech Community Arena, following a new naming rights sponsorship agreement with iTech Equipment, Inc., a local company that's been supporting the facility for years. This isn't a permanent change. The name would be in place for a 10-year term tied directly to the agreement. Naming rights are part of the city's strategy to bring in additional revenue to support recreation facilities. In this case, the agreement would generate $20,000 annually, helping offset operating costs and support programs and services at the arena. The process to rename the facility followed the city's official naming policy, including a review by planning services and consultation with internal departments and external agencies. This also builds on broader efforts to partner with local businesses and invest in community spaces in a sustainable way. After a fair bit of discussion on how long the agreement would be, Standing Committee endorsed the name change, and it will now go to Council for final approval. All right, so that's it for the Quality of Life Standing Committee meeting updates. Next, I'll be giving a recap on the Growth Standing Committee meeting. First up at the Growth Standing Committee meeting was a presentation on the Trunk Water Main Inspection Program. Then onto the reports of administration. The first report was a property-related matter involving 120 and 122 Cumberland Street South. These properties are owned by the city and currently leased to DSAB, where they operate a 221-unit community housing building. The discussion is about possibly transferring the land to support the continued use of that housing. The resolution from closed session was brought to open session for approval. The decision is to declare the land as surplus and sell the land to DSAB. This will still need to go to council for final approval. The next report was an update on the Waterfront Trail Improvement Plan. The overall vision is to have a continuous trail connecting Mission Island Marsh all the way to Fisherman's Park and Current River. The goal is to create a seamless route for walking, cycling, and enjoying the waterfront. So far, we've seen new trails on Mission Island and around Pool 6, improved road shoulders, a lookout at Marina Park, and better signage to help people navigate the route. In total, about $2.3 million in work has already been completed. This project is about more than just trails. It supports active transportation, recreation, tourism, and stronger connections between neighborhoods and the waterfront. However, there are still some challenges. Some sections of the trail would cross private land, and agreements haven't been finalized. Rail crossings are another big hurdle, with safety and coordination still to be worked out. And of course, funding continues to be a key factor, with future phases depending heavily on external support. Public feedback has been largely positive. People are excited to see the trail come together and recognize it can improve access to Lake Superior and enhance the city overall. There's still work ahead, but step by step, the waterfront trail is moving closer to becoming a continuous city-wide feature. The final report of administration was a recommendation about a proposed telecommunications tower at 1580 Arthur Street West. Bell Mobility is looking to install a 30-meter antenna structure on the site. The goal is to strengthen wireless coverage in the area, including support for the public safety radio network, which helps ensure reliable communication for emergency services. From a planning perspective, the proposal fits within the city's official plan and zoning bylaw. Telecommunication infrastructure is permitted on this type of property, and the location makes it appropriate for this kind of use. Before reaching this stage, the required public consultation process was completed. Notices were shared with nearby property owners, a virtual public meeting was held, and time was provided for written feedback. In this case, no concerns or comments were received. City administration is recommending that council issue what's called a letter of concurrence. This is a required step that allows the project to move forward through the federal approval process. It's also worth noting that all costs for this project would be covered by Bell Mobility. Overall, this proposal supports continued investment in telecommunications infrastructure, something that's important for connectivity, public safety, and future growth in our community. The Standing Committee endorsed, and it will now go to Council for final approval. Finally, there was an update from Matthew Miedema, the Director of Engineering and Facilities, on the plans to extend the Sleeping Giant Parkway. This project would connect the Pool 6 area to the Central Avenue overpass, creating a continuous waterfront route for both vehicles and active transportation. It's an important piece for improving access and supporting future development along the waterfront. Next steps include a municipal class environmental assessment planned for 2027, followed by design work through 2028. If everything lines up, including approvals and funding, construction could begin between 2030 and 2032. There was also an update from Joel Deputer, Director of Development Services, on the status of the potential surplus declaration and sale of 60 Junot Avenue. As of June 5th, the Thunder Bay Muslim Religious Association has withdrawn its proposal for the property. Because of that, the city won't be bringing forward a report at this time about potentially declaring the property surplus or moving ahead with the sale. Okay, that's a wrap for the recap of the Growth Standing Committee meeting. Next up, I'll be joined by today's guest to talk more about what's happening with the city's urban forestry plan. I'm here in the Minute studio with Aaron Brecka, the city's new urban forester, to talk all about the city's plan for updating urban trees and the importance of green infrastructure. Hi, Aaron. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so for anyone hearing about this for the first time, what exactly is an emerald ash borer?
The emerald ash borer, or EAB as they're referred to, is an insect. It's a green insect. It's invasive, and it's been in North America for about 20 years, just over 20 years. It's an insect that attacks native ash trees, for which they have little tolerance or defense.
Okay, so those don't sound like something we want around. So how does this tiny insect actually kill an entire tree?
The insect, lays its eggs on the ash tree beneath the bark, and it's the larvae that damage it. So they eat the important cambium fibers within the tree. These carry water and nutrients throughout the tree, and with enough larvae, with enough insects, they can severely damage and decline the health of the tree. So it's not a matter of one insect, but in numbers for sure.
Okay. So the reason to give context, this was talked about at Standing Committee this week. So just to give people who are listening, wondering why we're talking about bugs. Okay, so why now at this point we're seeing such a big increase in the tree removals compared to previous years?
For sure, yeah. This is kind of a natural progression of the situation. Thunder Bay has a very high density of green ash trees in our urban boulevards and parks. And so with the insect being present over the number of years, it has naturally been increasing in its activity. So we're at the point now where we're doing fewer isolated individual tree removals and have to do some larger scale removals. And this is related to the health of the trees that we're seeing through monitoring and assessing. And it is a point at the progression of the situation. And really, after 10 years, it was first identified around 2016. We're somewhat, fortunate that a lot of our trees have sustained to this point, but we do have to manage them appropriately now.
Right. Okay. So we're hearing about entire streets of these ash trees being removed. Can you walk us through just the reasoning behind that, like instead of just a couple trees?
For sure, and every situation is different. I'm not saying that all streets will be dealt with the same.
Right.
But in many cases, there are efficiencies for operations that are needed, and even through assessments, we'll see that all of the ash trees maybe are declining in a similar manner, in a similar rate. So to remove them all in a relative similar time frame is important, and it does assist afterwards with the rehabilitation, with replanting afterwards. So there are some efficiencies that can be gained, and like I said, afterwards with planting, there will be some new planted trees, hopefully soon afterwards, that add some diversity back to those neighborhoods.
Right, yeah. And how much is weather, like warmer winters or dry summers, playing into how quickly the tree is getting infected?
It definitely contributes. I can't say to what degree, but certainly anything that stresses the tree, the green ash trees, not having enough rain, warm summer, the short winters and mild winters was something we definitely observed early in 2026. These things definitely contribute to the decline that we're noticing. I just can't say to what necessarily degree, but they definitely contribute.
Okay. As we look ahead to 2030, which seems like a long time away, but 4 years goes by fast, how will the city rebuild the tree canopy, and what kind of trees might people start seeing in their neighborhoods?
Great question. Yes. So a lot of the trees we're going to be planting are trees people have already been seeing. There's an emphasis, as I mentioned, on diversity. So planting maples and oaks and elms. These are trees that have been planted in Thunder Bay. So continuing with trees that we know will continue to do well going into the future. And every year we do a planting program in the summertime, and we'll look to replant areas that lost their ash trees as soon as we can. It's not, unfortunately, something we can adhere to a timeline, but ideally, yes, as soon as we can get new trees back to areas that lost their trees, we will do that.
Right. Okay, the city is reviewing its tree policies right now. So what sparked that review, and what kind of updates are being considered?
Thank you. Yeah, sorry. So we're actually, this is like the very preliminary stages. We haven't actually started reviewing.
Okay.
So this is, again, something that is a goal as a part of my job to review and update these policies. We haven't yet formally started. I've gotten comments, is this, are we doing consultation? Is this reviewing? We haven't reached that point yet.
Okay.
We're certainly looking ahead to doing these things, but as of now, they're not formally being reviewed.
Okay.
And we acknowledge that there are some older documents that do need updating, and that's something we'll be looking to do soon.
Right. That's what you're working on in the upcoming future. So why are trees valuable? So that we talk about like green infrastructure, but why like obviously we all love trees, but what is the value of having a good inventory and keeping them so well maintained in the city?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of the value we don't see, which is can be maybe overlooked sometimes. There's an aesthetic value to having trees, street line full with trees. But other benefits include stormwater management, helping purify the air, shade, and assisting with energy costs. There's lots of benefits that aren't directly seen, but they are felt throughout the community. So it's important to continue maintaining and planting new trees and establishing them throughout the city.
Right, for sure. And obviously, you want to, if trees are dying, you want those breaking and falling on things, and it's a safety thing too.
For sure, yes. And we have an operations group that is able to respond to calls and assess the situation. If it's deemed a hazard, a safety risk, then it's dealt with accordingly.
Right.
But we are able to assess these situations.
Right.
Definitely avoiding any kind of risk like that.
For sure. Okay, so the city is asking for public feedback. What kind of input are you hoping to hear from residents about trees in their neighborhoods?
For sure, yeah. So I think we haven't done a survey for many years, and this is certainly my first survey. I'm really just excited to engage with the community and hear back on some different thoughts and interests for trees in their areas. And if we have some more focused questions at a later survey, but for now, just looking for thoughts and interests on trees.
Right. I think I had family members who they talk about, I've had this tree in the front of my yard for 40 years. I've lived here for 40 years. Like, people are very connected to the trees, especially if they're close to their homes or like on their streets. Like, it's something that really impacts people.
Definitely, yeah. The connection is really important, and it's something I've noticed in the short time that I've been here. There's a lot of very passionate people, and they have that deep connection with trees, not only on their boulevard maybe, but on their street or a particular park that they like to go to. So it's definitely really nice to hear those kinds of stories and learn about those connections.
Yeah, it is a big deal. Okay, that's a wrap. Thanks for the updates, Aaron, and thanks for taking time and coming to chat with me today.
Thank you very much.
That's it for this week's episode of The Minutes. A big thank you to Aaron Brecka, the city's urban forester, for joining us. If you want more information about City Council agendas or minutes, visit thunderbay.ca/council. You can catch The Minutes every week wherever you get your podcasts, on our YouTube channel or on our website at thunderbay.ca/theminutes. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. I'm Amy. Thanks again for listening to The Minutes, and have a great day.